narrowboats cruised up the Lancaster Cut with cargoes of woolens, limestone and grit, from Kendal and Lancaster down to Preston. The Lancaster Cut still lives on. The work it was hard, and the ends wouldn't meet. When the railways arrived, they couldn't compete. The narrowboat carriers gave up one by one, and the Lancaster Cut still lives on. Then the 60s arrived, and it just wasn't sound to pay for the upkeep of locks and their pounds. But despite this progress called dereliction, the Lancaster Cut still lives on. The bridge stands forgotten, abandoned, forlorn, in the midst of a field of ripening corn. The boatmen and barges and butties long gone, but the Lancaster Cut still lives on. Chewitfield saw a double disgrace, where a flight of 8 locks once took pride of place. The lock gates are smashed and the paddles long gone, but the Lancaster Cut still lives on. And the motorway runs just a few yards away, as if to remind us the Cut's at its day, with its hundreds of horsepower thundering on. It laughs and says your days are gone. But just out of sight, the boatmen still gather, and bright painted craft to towpath are tethered. Their quiet peaceful days are not dead and gone, and the Lancaster Cut still lives on. Shorter than in days of old, but for some narrow boatmen it's worth more than gold. From Chewitfield and Carnforth and down to the Loon, the Lancaster Cut still lives on. The narrowboats cruised up the Lancaster Cut with cargoes of woolens, limestone and grit, from Kendal through Lancaster down to Preston. The Lancaster Cut still lives on. The Lancaster Cut still lives on.
oh dear, this a curious age is alteration, all the rages, young and old in the stream are moving, all in the general cry improving. From the exhibition I brought news down, they're going to make it a seaport town. Instead of factories and cheap tailors, nothing you'll see but ships and sailors. Thus 'twill be, I'll bet you a crown, when Leeds becomes a seaport town. All over the town there'll be boats and barges, men of war ships that never so large as steamers backwards and forwards a towing. You ride for nothing, they pay you for going. Oh, sailors swearing, spars a battering, heave your hoe in, handspikes clattering, strange sails crowding every day, sailing and anchoring in Leeds Bay. Thus 'twill be, I'll bet you a crown, when Leeds becomes a seaport town. Oh, the Liverpool gents, they'll all be undone. Here there will be naught but fun done. Pats off wilder, running their rigs, landing their butter, their bullocks and their pigs. And then to make us merry and frisky, mealy potatoes and barrels of whiskey. You laid egg to 12-month taken, and old maids with money as rusty as bacon. Thus 'twill be, I'll bet you a crown, when Leeds becomes a seaport town. Oh, in a short time you'll have trade enough, says all over the world you'll send your stuff, says goods of every clime and nation all come here for embarkation. Oh, machinery and cloth and coals and carrots, and in return they'll get poll parrots, baboons, raccoons and Spanish donkeys, jays, cockatoos and ring-tailed monkeys. Thus 'twill be, I'll bet you a crown, when Leeds becomes a seaport town.
When projects are artfully laid, trip away at each favourite motion, in person to fondly attend. What jockey should not mount his pony, and ride to the very land's end, when the object is making of money? Tells me I don't think I'm in jest, regardless of lodging or weather, of land navigators at least full 1,000 assemble together. To mortals who share common sense, 'tis clear from this drunk canal fever, whatever divines may advance, mankind are as sordid as ever. From projects, no doubt some there are who get themselves into a hobble. The Gloucester at present bids fair, but the Bristol turned out a mere bubble. So fast for the rage, what can stop? This keen influenza is growing, when piecemeal the earth is cut up to keep speculation going.